Congress has a fever, and the only remedy is more impeachment. A lot of conversations about this taking place, not only from people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says, all right, enough already, we've seen it, but also the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. He made 2 comments about this. He's kind of getting irritated about this, and we here on this channel have been wondering, are they going to do anything? Are they going to just send another letter? I mean, we read through a lot of letters here, and I like reading through letters as much as anybody, but we also would like to see some action. Here's Kev.
That they bribed the Bidens, okay? This was given to the FBI. When Bill Barr finally found out about it, he sent it to his office in Philadelphia. They actually said that this was very credible. The FBI kept this from the IRS individuals for them ever to see it. So not only do they claim that they were bribed, we now find information that 16 out of 17 payments from Romania were provided to the Biden shell companies while he was vice president. When President Biden was running for office, he told the American public that he's never talked about business. He said his family has never received $1 from China, which we now prove is not true. We now have some of the most credible whistleblowers. These 10-year IRS agents who have come forward said that the Biden family has been treated differently, that what Weiss has told us is different than what Garland and Weiss has told the public. And you're sitting here today where now you have found millions of foreign money, just what the 1023 alleges they did to Biden's family. Now we found that it has funneled through shell companies. If you're sitting in our position today, we would know none of this if Republicans had not taken the majority. We've only followed where the information has taken us.
And you got to do something about it.
Hannity, this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed. Because this president has also used something we have not seen since Richard Nixon, used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny Congress the ability to have the oversight.
If we are talking about millions of dollars coming from our top geopolitical foes and that the Biden family has been corrupted and took in all of this money and he was complicit in that, wouldn't that mean that we have a criminal enterprise as president of the United States that had to be on every level compromised by countries that are not particularly fond of us?
Well, it's interesting that the Biden family runs, if they say, a company but never had an office and shell companies to be able to pay through. But if they really ran it for foreign countries, why didn't you get money from France, from Germany, from UK? Why does it have to be from China, Romania, in these countries that have real challenges and had problems going through? I believe we will follow this all the way to the end, and this is going to rise to an impeachment inquiry the way the Constitution tells us to do this, and we have to get the answers to these questions.
So they are going to now engage on an impeachment inquiry. Well, we'll see what that looks like. There's a lot to inquire about, no doubt about it. But a couple quick stories on just how deep this corruption goes. So first and foremost, we know that there was David Weiss's office, which was investigating Hunter, and a former Biden lawyer served with the assistant Delaware prosecutor, Leslie Wolf, who was freezing the big guy probe. Okay, so there's multiple layers here, but it's this big incestuous relationship where Hunter's lawyers from one of Joe Biden's remember, this guy's been in office for 30 plus years, and he's been running as senator in this campaign, and he's got relationships very deep. And so somebody who was working at the Department of Justice investigating Hunter has a very close connection to the Bidens. It's about as corrupt as it gets. A former deputy counsel named Alexander Mackler. Mackler is the name of this person. He was a deputy counsel to Vice President Joe. And guess where he ended up? Shocking. Served as an assistant U.S. attorney of Delaware right alongside Leslie Wolf, the other woman who, according to the IRS whistleblowers, was responsible either directly or caused it to happen to warn Hunter's lawyers about the search of the storage unit. So a deputy counsel to VP Joe is now working at the DOJ right next to Leslie Wolf. Amazing. Who worked on the criminal probe into Hunter Biden and allegedly prevented investigators from asking about the big guy. All right, Mackler's history with Joe Biden includes being the campaign manager for Beau Biden in his successful run when he was Attorney General. Biden appointed Mackler as deputy counsel to the vice president, according to his LinkedIn profile. Mackler then moved on, went over to the U.S. Attorney of Delaware, right alongside Wolf from 2016 to 2019, which is the era of this entire investigation. Incredible. During those years, Mackler and Hunter Biden remained in close connection. And how do we know that? The laptop. Mackler is working in the Department of Justice hanging out, probably going to lunches with Leslie Wolf, who is the chief prosecutor on Hunter's case. Mackler sends an email to Hunter while he's being investigated, also by the DOJ, by the way. Says, "Hey Hunter, haven't heard from you in a while, and I'm thinking of you. Anytime you're in DC and want to say hi, let me know. Love ya." All right, so now this guy is at the DOJ in 2016 to 2019, sending emails to Hunter, "Love ya." Fast forward to 2018, Hunter still committing crimes. He sends Hunter an email. He wants to catch up. He says, "Hey Hunty, I just finished a hellacious couple of months in court, probably prosecuting other people who committed crimes. Now that I have a chance to breathe, was wondering how life is on your end. Last you told me you were out in LA. Give me a call sometime. We can catch up. Love you, brother." Leslie Wolf's colleague sending emails to Hunter from the DOJ when he was employed there. "Love you, brother. Love you, man." Okay, now that is incredible. I mean, the conflict there is not direct, but the principle of the fact is there's a lot of closeness there, a little too close for comfort, in other words. Now, there's another exclusive from Business Insider. They tell us that Hunter Biden's gallery sold his art, which if you ever saw it, looks like COVID and mucus in a moldy bowl that you've left out in your college dorm room for too long. Hunter Biden's gallery sold art to a Democratic donor friend whom Joe Biden then named to a prestigious commission. Amazing. So it's like almost like the same pattern. People pay Hunter, Hunter exercises his powers of persuasion, and Joe Biden does something. Did this happen before previously? Oh, that's right. Hunter got paid $83,000 a month from Burisma. Burisma was under investigation by a prosecutor. Hunter leveraged his father to threaten to withhold $1 billion of U.S. aid to Ukraine. Guess what happened? Something got done. Joe Biden exercised his influence. Prosecutor was fired. Here, this Democratic donor wants to get appointed to a prestigious commission. How do I do that? I go buy one of Hunter's STD images and pays whatever that cost, and then boom, Biden turns around, you get appointed. Here's the story. On the campaign trail, Joe Biden pledged that there would be an absolute wall. Obviously, that's not true. In 2021, a New York art gallery debuted one of Hunter Biden's paintings, asking price $500,000. 500 grand. The White House said his team had a vetting process for verifying their identities, but turned out that didn't work out so well. Hunter Biden did, in fact, learn the identity of two buyers, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. One of those buyers is someone who got a favor from the White House, but we don't know when they purchased the art. The buyer, Insider can reveal, is this woman, Elizabeth Hirsch Naftali, an LA real estate investor philanthropist. Naftali's influential in California Democratic circles, has given $13,000 to Biden, $30,000 to Democrats. In 2022, she hosted a fundraiser for VP Kamala. Insider obtained internal documents from Hunter's gallery showing that a single buyer, these people are so disgusting and corrupt, $875,000 worth of his art, right? This is happening right now in real time. $875,000 of Hunter's paintings. One buyer. Have you seen it? He's not Picasso or something, man. The documents do not indicate the buyer's identity, which is also unknown to Insider at the time. In 2022, 8 months after the first art opening, Biden announced Hirsch Naftali's appointment to the Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad. It's unclear whether Hirsch Naftali's purchase of the artwork occurred before or after the appointment, though. Membership on the commission is an unpaid position, filled by campaign donors, same crowd that often winds up with ambassador appointments, right? So working your way up. We don't know, did she buy the art before or after she was appointed? But they're not going to answer. Hirsch Naftali didn't respond to requests for comments. It's just incredible. He just started painting. He just got out of rehab like a decade ago. Gosh. So there's one more story before we hear from Congress. Now, the photos show that Hunter, who's a very, very talented artist now, and also an energy consultant with a brilliant portfolio, says that Hunter was in Daddy's Corvette when he was sending the Shakedown message, because the guy's just about as pathetic as they come. Photos from Hunter's laptop show that Joe Biden's son was there in Delaware in his home the same day as the alleged Shakedown messages. Biden was screaming at people, but Hunter was there. During the July 30th, 2017 discussion, Hunter told Zhao, I'm sitting here with my father. And apparently from the photos, like this one, here's Hunter Biden in Delaware, July 30th, 2017. Top House Republicans have described the message as a shakedown. And Hunter is literally the same day on July 30th, the same day as the threatening message. They show Hunter posing in the driver's seat of Daddy Biden's Corvette with two girls in the bikinis of his father's Wilmington home, right? There's Hunter. Incredible. So you see all of those stories just add up, and it's enough already. Congress is just tired of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of those people. She says, all right, we've got the FD 1023 form. She says, I already brought out my poster boards of Hunter's Biden, and I plastered that all over Congress. And so now here is an FD 1023 form as she explains why it's time to impeach.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On January 21st, 2021, I introduced articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. And less than 2 weeks later, I was kicked off all of my committees by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. They said it was for Facebook comments and replies and likes, but we all know the truth. It was because my articles of impeachment on Joe Biden were correct. He was indeed abusing his power as Vice President of the United States. Now we have more information to prove that not only was I right then, but it was more damning than we already knew. But I'd like to roll back. President Trump was wrongfully impeached twice, and both of these impeachments must be expunged by the House of Representatives.
There's two resolutions going through. She's got one of them. The other one is Elise Stefanik. We covered that in prior videos.
What I'd like to talk about is the difference in the type of information we have. The Democrats brought out the Steele dossier. The Steele dossier was written as a Democrat political opposition research paper. The information was written by a contractor, and it was fed to the FBI.
Lapped it up.
With no transparency on subsources. The contractor had no primary source information, and the FBI operationalized uncorroborated claims to secure FISA warrant on political campaign official of opposing political party. Information was later debunked by Congress, the Inspector General, and Special Counsel Investigations. But the mainstream media won Pulitzer Prizes on the bogus Russian narrative.
We're so
And then
brave.
they led the witch hunt, leading to impeaching President Trump over a phone call with the president of Ukraine. But let me tell the House what type of information we actually have. We have an FBI form called an FD 1023 form, and here's the difference for the public listening. On the 1023 form, the information originated from an FBI informant who'd been relied upon for many years and was considered the FBI's top informant.
Even paid.
It was also
six
paid
figures.
$200,000 for multiple years by the FBI. Information was written by the FBI agent in official FBI form and relied on no additional subsources. The FBI informant was a direct eye and ear witness to the information provided. The FBI apparently took no action to further the investigative claim. The FBI has refused to describe any investigative steps to assess the investigative information. Therefore, it has not been debunked, despite White House's lies and false claims. The mainstream media has largely ignored the story or parroted the White House false claim. What does the FD 1023 form tell you? I'll tell you exactly what it says, because not only have I read it, I also have it in my possession right here.
Yeah.
And this is a form that the entire American people, the entire public should have because it's unclassified. But Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, forced us.
And I just want to pause on this. I think she's going to get to it, but it finally has been released. Remember how long it has taken to get that one document? Multiple letters from Comer, multiple debates. They said, we'll show it to you. They flashed the document, then they hid it. Then they said, we'll have a briefing. They had multiple meetings where Comer showed up and then left irritated. But finally, we've got the document. And so there is hope. These things do take time. And now we've got the FD 1023 that's been released courtesy of Chuck Grassley being waved around on the floor of the House.
To read it in a skiff and would not hand it over to us. Thankfully, Senator Chuck Grassley released this form because it was provided to him by a brave whistleblower.
Getting some progress.
This form entails the damning information that then Vice President Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe from the oligarch that owns Burisma. Not only did Joe Biden take a $5 million bribe, so did Hunter Biden. And what did Joe Biden deliver as Vice President of the United States?
Fired prosecutors.
He got Viktor Shokin, the Ukrainian prosecutor general, fired from his job. How did Joe Biden, vice president, get that done? He threatened to withhold $1 billion of U.S. aid to Ukraine until Viktor Shokin was fired. And you want to know what? He was fired. In 2016, Joe Biden himself bragged to the Foreign Council and told them that he got him fired. He bragged about it. It's on video. But that's not all they've done. Hunter Biden has also gotten his father on the phone over 24 times to talk with his business partners and talk with them about the business that they are doing. And even more so, in our possession, through our investigations on our Republican-led committees, we also have a WhatsApp chat that says, from Hunter Biden, I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled.
When he's sitting there in Daddy's Corvette.
Joe Biden. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. And it continues on. What I'm demanding is that the Republican-led House of Representatives move forward on an impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden. Because this type of corruption should never be allowed to stand. We must expunge President Trump's wrongful impeachments, and we must impeach Joe Biden.
Get it, Marjorie? Fired up, baby. Impeachment fever running around Congress. And look, I mean, how can you really argue with that? She went through it very nicely, very beautifully, articulated all the multiple layers of corruption, the cover-up, the whole thing. Everybody can see it. Now the question is Congress going to do anything about it? And so Kevin McCarthy was speaking to America and issued a statement about President Joe Biden today.
I would think the Biden family would want to answer these questions as well, provide the documents instead of holding them back. We're watching this administration use government much like Richard Nixon used by denying us to get the information that we need. So that's what's the answer to the question. Yes, sir.
What would an impeachment inquiry allow congressional investigators that the oversight committees and judiciary committees don't already have? And how would you respond to Democrats' contention that the 1023 was in the possession of the Justice Department during the Trump administration under Attorney General Barr, and they found it not to be credible enough to move forward with an investigation?
Not true. Not true. If you listen to what Barr came forward, Barr said he moved the 1023 when he found out about it to the, I believe it was the Philadelphia Department of the Justice Department. That Justice Department came back and said that, and don't quote me because I got to get the right terms, exactly what they said, but they said there was more merit and more information. When have you found a Justice Department of attorneys to find more information than the FBI? The FBI did nothing with it. And you raise a very good point here because you bring up that. Well, we have now found from the IRS agents, the whistleblowers who came forth, that they were denied this document while they were investigating. Not only were they denied the document, when they had a meeting, then they were going to talk about it, they asked to be a part of it, and they were denied to be there. Now that raises lots of questions. You never want people to question that type of thing. You want to be forthcoming. So what an impeachment inquiry does, it gives us the apex of the power of Congress for Republicans and Democrats to gather the information that they need. So when we're continuing that, you raise a question like this, wondering what's right or wrong, you would want the truth as well, just as you're covering it for the American public. What that simply provides is that the American public has a right to know, and this allows Congress to get the information to be able to know the truth. Yes, ma'am.
What do you say to the moderates in your party who say you continue to side and appease the right wing on many issues, including
such as what?
On talking about an impeachment inquiry of President Biden, on appropriations, on a long list of things?
Well, I don't know, because you haven't quoted anybody. You just say something, you frame some brand of something. But let me answer your question very forceful and truthful on this. I have nothing to do about who in the party. This is about America. Then I raise to you, I've watched you on TV, you write every day about covering government. So right now you have a president who told you and every other American that he's never talked to his family about business and they never got $1 from China. You now know that's not true.
That's the second time he's turned this back on the reporters. He did it to the other guy to his left. He's going through and he says, no, this is important to you. That's why I'm doing it, because it's important to you. Next one. I watch you on TV. I know this is important to you. That's why we're doing this.
You have a president, while he was vice president, that got 16 out of 17 payments from Romania while he was president. You now had never known that before he was elected, but you now have a document that the FBI had that didn't further to investigate, even though the Justice Department said there was merit, that said they were bribed and told they had to run through shell companies, which you never knew about, but now you know there are shell companies. And what they made this claim to be, you find that the form of which to pay in is actually what came through. You now have IRS whistleblowers who are not Republican, philosophically, who now say they were denied the ability to do their job. And in trying to do their job in the investigation of the Biden family, they were denied the 1023, even in meetings where David Weiss has said one thing to them and different to the American public, different than the Attorney General had promised the American public. He said that they should be prosecuted, but now we have found out that the department actually called the Biden family attorneys, told them ahead of time where documents were, treated other people in politics differently, even went to the inaugural committee. Why would they give a heads up to the inaugural committee? Why would they be denied the ability to go forward? They believe the investigation was hampered using political purposes to treat them differently. Now, as an elected official, having all this information, should I ignore it? No. Congress has a responsibility for an investigation wing. All I'm saying is, and I'm sure you'd probably ask the same question, where's the truth? You've got to get to the bottom of the truth. And the only way Congress can do that is go to impeachment inquiry that gives Republicans and Democrats the ability to get all the information. Hey, I think I got to open the floor. I'm sure we're going to be able to see each other a lot more.
All right, nice job there from Kev. He takes it directly back to the reporters when they criticize him for taking action. He says, well, you'd be interested in this, and I like that strategy. And of course, the question is, are they actually going to do anything? Will this go anywhere? A lot of talk, but what about the action? Time will tell. Of course, my friends, we're going to continue to cover this, and so thank you for subscribing. Thank you for inviting somebody to come over and join us as the impeachment inquiries move forward.